So listen, peace to the guys. How we doing, man? It's 19 Keys. I want to tap in with y'all real quick. So I was thinking about this because, behind the scenes, I get a lot of consulting calls and things of that nature, and people want to know how to utilize. Thank you, Chief. How to utilize AI, and I'm like, the problem with this conversation is that you really need to understand HI in order to understand AI, right? And school fails a lot of people is because everybody's learning AI, or everybody's have been taught like AI, right? Instead of developing HI. So HI systems allow you to master anything, right? Now, in this book, there is a chapter that talks about abstract thinking versus technical thinking, right? So HI systems utilize abstract. AI utilize technical thinking. So here's the thing. If somebody says, Keys, teach me how to use AI, right? Well, I'm going to teach you. And the way you're doing is that you're learning what I know. And so you're copying the thought, right? And you're executing based on how well you can copy that thought. But that's not true learning, right? This is why people go to school and they get A's in schools, but they get F's in life. And that's because they get very good at learning what to be told to do. So technical skill set, right? And in the book, it talks about this. And it's a very short book, but it talks about the fact that human beings have been learned to be technical instead of abstract. So when you're technical, that means you need to consistently be told what to do, because now you don't know how to think for self. So it handicaps your brain. So what happens is that if I say draw this picture and I teach you a technical skill, you're going to say that's a good artist. That is not a good artist. That artist has good technique, but he's not a good artist. And so what we've done is we've taken art and we've stripped the art out of it, and we've turned art into techniques. And you have a bunch of people around the world who just know techniques but don't know art, right? So it's like somebody thinking that they're intelligent because they memorize what someone else who used their intelligence said. That doesn't make you intelligent, because you didn't have to utilize none of your thinking systems to come up with any thought. You just remembered what somebody else who actually utilized their HI, and then you became like AI, and now it's artificial intelligence. So human beings have been programmed for so long in school to become artificially intelligent. And this book was written almost damn near 10 years ago now. Not as much, but close to now. And I'm like, damn, everybody's artificially intelligent. They don't know anything. They just memorizing things that's been said. And so this is why when somebody say, yo, Keith, teach me AI, that's the wrong question. So abstract thinking is, instead of me teaching you just technique, and technique is important, don't get me wrong, it's great. But if I say, take this same picture, and instead of drawing it exactly as is, I want your rendering, right, of what it means to you. Draw it in your own idea. So now you're going to create an abstract of that. It's not going to be exactly the same. It's going to be in your own original way, which that requires emotional intelligence, because it requires emotion. And emotions is like, it's like quantum dimensions. Every emotion is a different dimension, right? You can feel sad, you can feel angry, you can feel happy. Like, women operate in multi-dimensions all the time, right? It's kind of like saying, well, you say somebody is bipolar. Polar meaning at two opposite ends of a spectrum of emotions. And they live in two realities. In one reality, they might be happy. In another reality, they might be angry, right? And so instead of living in one reality to where they're always their higher self, they're jumping in between dimensions, right? So when you don't have control over your emotional spectrum, then you're always questioning your ideas. right? Instead of living the life, right, based on the decisions that you make, which requires intellect, right? So when abstract, though, this can work inside of art. Art says that instead of just learning a technique to do the technical thing that somebody tells me to do, how about I originate and I think about the way that I want to do it based on who I am, right? So you go from AI thinking, memorization, regurgitation, right, and being rewarded based on your ability to regurgitate technical information that someone else spent their human intelligence thinking about. So HI is human intelligence, AI is artificial intelligence. So abstract thinking means that you have access to abstract your own process, your own ideas, and your... My bad, I had a call. That gives you, right, connection to your own values. So don't ask me, teach me AI. No, the better question is, teach me how to think about AI. I just got off the phone with a principal. He's a dean of principals in different schools across New York. And, I sat down with him and had a conversation about the distracted child. And he asked me, like, if you could recommend a class that is the most important right now for children to learn. And I said it had to be a thinking class where you don't tell them what to do. You give them things and you see how they think about things, right? I think that that's more important. And essentially what that is philosophy. Right? Philosophers, I think it's where you get wisdom back into culture. So right now we have a culture that's based on rules and, knowledge and information, but not wisdom. And so wisdom gives you guidance, right? And then from wisdom, you get to understanding. And then that's when you have the higher level of enlightenment. And so we have to stop being this info-based culture because wisdom dictates how you think. So I'll give you a case in point, and some of you all might be triggered by this, but again, we're going to drop in a high level conversation. And the sister I was talking to, she explains how mental health is toxic, or the mental health paradigm is toxic. Because everybody talking about, don't trigger me, you gaslighting. I don't care. That's your job to deal with those things, not mine. So when I say this, I'm saying it fully knowing that some of you all might be triggered. But I want you to abstract what you can from this and to think and not be emotionally involved. Don't be a robot. So here's the thing. Black women are not the most educated group in America. Black women are not the most educated group in America. How did you, when you heard that statement the first time, I'm sure that a lot of black women felt empowered and they felt a sense of pride by hearing that. But what it should have done, right, because you took it, you ran with it because it confirmed the bias that you want to believe that is true. And when I first heard it, I said, okay, that's cool. That's nice. That's nice. I wasn't tripping off of it. I questioned it for a second. I said, that's interesting. That's fast. That was fast. That's what I first thought. That's fast for a group who is just now getting, right, the higher enrollment rates and things of that nature. How did it grow so fast? How did black women become the fastest, most educated group in America? And then when I investigated, I realized it's not even true at all as far as a statement. It's factually incorrect. So where did that come from? So this is thinking. Thinking investigates, right? And the word investigate starts with invest. Right? So you have to invest time. And in that investment in time, you get something out of it. You start to go to the root. You start to understand things. So when you investigate, you say, wait a minute, the reality, that statement comes from black women are I'm going to tell you why it matters, JMX. The truth always matters. The truth, this is what you got to always understand. The truth always matters. And it's going to land a point. You go get it. The reason why it matters, because the statement comes from the fact that it was inside of black America, black women are the most educated. They're not the most educated in America. So I said, so what you're saying is that black women are more, They're having higher degrees of enrollment, number one, and degrees in specific areas. So you're saying black women are more educated than black men. Specifically, black girls are becoming more educated than black boys, because we're talking about young people when we're talking about enrollment and degrees, right? So then I had to think about that, like, damn, imagine that as a statement. If we are in school and we're saying, and we're celebrating the fact that there are more black girls being educated than young black boys at higher degrees, and we then take that statement and we plaster it everywhere as good propaganda, what then that would make you question, why isn't the young black boys catching up? That then should be a call to action to say, okay, well, there's something not right happening with our young black boys. Why aren't they being more educated? What's happening? What's the failure? What's the issue? That would naturally happen as what, a concerned parent, right? If you have a child and we say that, hey, your girl is being more educated than your son. So then do you then take all your energy and you focus it all the way on your girl, or then do you take equal energy and you say, okay, let me get my boy more educated because he's falling behind, right? And then from a societal standpoint, from a collective view, you would look at it and say, if young girls are being more educated than boys, then who is going to be the spouse of these young girls when they grow into grown women? Who's going to lead them? Who's going to protect them? Who's going to provide for them? Who is going to be their equally yoked partner in life? So what we've done is we've had so much emphasis, right, on girls because of course, a women's movement, right? Women have historically been oppressed and been left out of the conversation, right? And then you ask yourself this, okay, well, let's kind of investigate that a little deeper. What emotions does that cause within our community as a black family? Competition. All right, so, well, what's the problem with competition? Well, and what it does is it raises the significance up. So when you have people that are competing with each other, right, then they're not trying to cooperate with each other, a cooperation, right? So the most important thing becomes like competition or significance, right? And it feeds the ego, but it doesn't feed the family. So instead, the most important thing would be growth. So if you say, okay, if growth is the most important thing for the black collective, then you want to see the boy and the girl become educated, right, to higher degrees. Then when you investigate further, I say, okay, well, who is the most educated in black America? In America. It will be between, number one, like the East Indians, they have a higher degrees of like master degrees and degrees in like engineering and technology fields, where black women typically go and get like sociology degrees and right, the therapy, psychologists, things of that nature, nursing degrees, stuff like that, right? So these are fields that are more of individual importance, right? Not nation building fields per se. The East Indian women is going into fields that are the most in-demand jobs, so it increases the wealth of the Indian community because we're going into a more technology-centered, right, society. So now they're getting the engineering jobs that's starting about $200,000-$300,000, right? And automatically that is a wealth transfer for that group that sticks together as a family, because the East Indian man is also getting highly educated as well. So nobody is saying, man, the East Indian woman is the most educated woman in America, because they're not making it a competition between the family. She's getting educated so that it assists the family in the paradigm of growth, right? It's for contribution. So there's an order of values that happen when you arrange your order of values. It allows a collective to be able to grow. Right? And so what you end up saying is that, okay, if our community focus on growth and contribution and community and then significance at the bottom, right? Well, right now we got significance at the top, and significance makes you want to compete with each other instead of figuring out how to contribute to the collective community for overall growth. Then we move backwards as a culture because the best partner that we have in the world is our woman. You understand me? So if we're looking at the numbers, we're going to look at essentially white women are the most educated in America, then it's Indians, then it's black people, then it's Hispanics, right? Or black women, black men, Hispanic groups. That would be the actual order. Now, if we were taught that, and this is why truth matters, because then we would compete with other groups outside of our own to move up that social ladder. So we would then say, okay, well, damn, they keep telling us that the Indians are the most educated. Well, that's our competition. If you in a race, do you compete with the person in fourth place, or do you compete with the person in first place? So if this is a race, and we saying that, hey, Indians and white women in first place, Indians in second place, you know what I mean, y'all black women in third place, black men in fourth place, we want to compete for third and fourth? No, we want to be winners. We compete with whoever's in first. Now, as a cultural competition, right, we're saying let's move our numbers up to compete with those who are at the top.